whole thing I wanted to talk about was actually Wolfey. Everyone knows Wolfey. He seems like he's like the GOAT of all VGC. Whenever it comes to competitive gaming, it's always like Wolf. Like I personally, I don't follow it enough. But whenever it comes to, you know, who do you know from that? It's always Wolfey. It's always Wolfey. He dropped a video called Moving Forward, and I thought, what the hell's going on here? Right. And I watched a little bit, and it really intrigued me to hear what he had to say about his experience with Pokemon and Pokemon Worlds. And I think we should watch it. I think it'd be very interesting. All right. So I guess we'll get into it. It is a long video. He tried to make it 20 minutes. It turned into 30 minutes. So this is going to take up a bit of time. I will be pausing it to talk about some things here and there. But it's definitely worth to listen to, and maybe it will help some people to understand, like, hey, you know, like maybe don't do certain things. So I'm just going to drop this in here. We'll also be getting to gameplay after this as well. So I'll be doing post-game ZA gameplay after, but I just thought this would be kind of cool to do. So here we go.
This is a video that I have thought about making every day for the last 2 months. Every day since last year's World Championships in August. This is also a video that I don't especially want to make, but I do think that it is very important because I think that you, the viewers, deserve an update on what's been going on and on why I'm going to be making some of the changes that I'm going to be making. I already today have recorded for over an hour, trying to get this video into a place that I felt like it was good and coherent. And as you are watching this attempt at the video, you've probably realized that I have not succeeded yet. So I have some notes on the screen for myself here, just to try and keep the video brief. I actually sat down after this year's World Championships back in August, and I recorded a video that I had hoped would be this video, but it was about 40 minutes long. It was really rambly, and in the end, I think it read more as a plea for empathy rather than a channel update, which is what I hope this video will be. I want to be respectful of your time. So for those of you who only want to know what's going on and don't want the full picture, I'm just going to tell you up front what has been happening. Well, I'm going to tell you the takeaways. And then I will tell you what's been happening and how it's affected me. Here's the biggest thing that you need to know. This year, for the first time since I started making them, I will not be doing a video about the World Championships. This is not a decision that I take lightly. The Worlds video I've always felt is the most important video each year on the channel, but I also think it's the right decision to not make one this year. On top of that,
before we get into that, in context, his Worlds video is probably his biggest video of the entire year, and everyone looks forward to it. So for him to cancel a Worlds video is insane. It's like saying, I want to kill the biggest piece of content that I can make. And the reason why he gets into it will make it clear as day why he's doing this. And
I am not certain how much longer I will be attending in-person tournaments. I guess what I will say about that is that it is entirely possible that I never compete in or attend another World Championships again.
Okay, so there you go. There's a big banger right there. Wolfey's is not going to be going to in-person events going forward, at least for now. Nothing's in concrete, but it's crazy that he's like saying, I'm probably the GOAT in this area. He's very humble, man. Let's put that straightforward. He doesn't put himself on a pedestal. Other people do. But literally he's usually regarded as like the GOAT of all time, right? Like the best VGC player. So let's continue on.
That these are pretty strong statements, and so you are certainly curious, if you've made it this far into the video, what has been going on. And I think the easiest way to start talking about this is to talk about this year's World Championships. Worlds this year was my least favorite Worlds ever. And in the past, most of the time I didn't have fun at a Worlds, it was because I didn't feel good about my performance. By contrast, this year I feel excellent about my performance. While it wasn't a great finish, it was certainly a good one, and there's a lot of things that I'm extremely proud of that happened both at the tournament and in the preparation that make me feel overall very good about this year's run. And so the reason why I feel bad about this year's World Championships has nothing to do with my performance, and if anything, the performance is actually helping. Over the past several years, attending tournaments has been getting more and more difficult. And I would say that Worlds this year was a turning point and a peak and made it clear to me that something had to change. Like I said, my goal is for this to be an update video. I don't really want this to be a video where I, sit down and tell you every single thing that's been challenging over the last couple of years, because I don't think that's helpful. And so I'm going to try and avoid giving too many examples, but I want to give you a couple ones just to ground everybody in kind of the scale of what's been going on. My hope is that you do not use this as this one example as take it as like that's the whole problem, right? I'm going to give you one example. Please understand this is a small piece of a whole, but I think it gives, like I said, I think it gives good grounding as to kind of the general scope that we're talking about here. I'm just checking my notes here. Yeah. So the example that I think makes things the clearest, the fastest, I'm all about efficiency today for some reason, perhaps because this is my 10th attempt or whatever. The example that I think makes things the clearest, the fastest is that I competed at 7 official tournaments in the 2025 season. So from September 2024 until August 2025, I attended 7 in-person tournaments. At 5 of those tournaments, I was groped. Fans, when taking pictures with me, put their hands on me sexually and non-consensually during the act of taking photos. I don't like that this is happening. And I also think that it's pretty clear to most people, most reasonable people, that this is not normal behavior. Like most people do not grope other people. And I don't know why it's happening to me so much in particular, but the fact remains that it is. Like I said, I don't want the takeaway to be that this is the only issue, or that the things that I'm going to be making changes are in direct response to the groping issue. In fact, out of all the issues I've been facing at tournaments, I think that groping is actually relatively low on my priority list of things that I would fix if I could snap my fingers and make them go away, primarily because it only happens once or twice at most events.
Okay, hold on. We're going to stop right there. So I totally agree with everything you said. That is terrible. No one should be doing that. I don't know where people think that's even acceptable in any way, shape, or form. The one thing I do not like what he just said is he's putting it on the priority list very low. I think that is very important, that you do not diminish the fact that this is very bad and it should not be going on. I know he might be saying like there's things that are even more important above that in his personal experience, but when it comes to that, there's nothing more important than having your personal space and not being touched inappropriately. Like that's the only disagreement I have with his statement, and that's terrible that he has to go through with that. Nobody should be going through that. It is absolutely not acceptable in any way.
And so there are more pressing things that have a higher impact beyond just making me feel bad and kind of violated in a way. So please understand that this is just an example to give you a sense of kind of the general scope. I have another example for you, and it's less intense, but I think it also is helpful in its own way. It comes from NAIC this year. North American Internationals this year was an interesting tournament. North American Internationals was the tournament began on Friday, and I changed my flight to go home on Saturday. And the reason for that is because before the tournament, I don't remember if it was like Wednesday or Thursday, but I had slept on my neck weird. Like I had one of those, it was like a crappy hotel pillow, and I'd gone to bed and I woke up and I was experiencing rather severe neck pain. For my fellow, older gamers, you probably know neck pain is extremely.
Older gamers mentioned.
Situations where like I couldn't really turn my head from this angle without experiencing moderate to severe pain. So it was not a good environment to be competing.
I've been there.
You can imagine. And what made it especially difficult is that over the course of the weekend, people would reach out and they would grab me, not sexually, just regularly, right? But they would often grab me from a place where I could not see them, from like over my shoulder or something. And by instinct, when I am touched by a stranger, I would turn towards the stranger, and in doing so, it would cause my neck to spaz out. And so this happened, I don't remember the exact number, I was not really keeping track, but I know it was over 10 times. Over the course of one day of competing, people would reach out to get my attention, right? It feels, I think to most people, normal to be like, oh, I know that guy, let me go ahead and grab him, right? Like you would reach out and touch a friend. Except that for me, I don't know these people, and they're strangers, and it made my life so difficult at that tournament that I decided that I couldn't continue having my neck spaz out, and so I changed my flight home to Saturday morning.
Okay, I don't... For me personally, I never touch anyone. I don't want anyone touching me. So it's very odd that strangers would come up to you and just be like, tap you on the shoulder or any of that kind of stuff. It should always be you become present in their vision and present yourself like, hi, I'm so and so, and keep a distance. Like not up in their face. Like I don't know where the etiquette or why people don't know etiquette, but unfortunately, yeah, he had a neck injury they didn't know, so it's not like their fault that happened. But yeah, it did inflict pain with him, and I can totally get it. If you were to be grabbed from behind and be like, hey, dude, like, I want your attention, your first reaction is going to be to swing your neck around and say, what's attacking me right now? Because it's just a human instinct. So, like, etiquette is like, if you are going to talk to someone you don't know for the first time, definitely make it known that you are approaching them, not from behind, not touching them. Also, like, speak to them and present yourself. And if they're willing to get closer or whatever, let the person you're approaching do that, not the other way around. So that's, I feel like that's so weird. I've met people at conventions, and that's how I would go about it. I would go like, okay, I'm going to talk to that person. I'm going to be like, I'm known. I'm going to present who I am. And if they want nothing to do with me, they can just disengage. And also, like, there's a distance between us, so they should feel safe. I don't understand how his experience is like that. I think because he has such a celebrity presence, they're like, oh my God, I'm so starstruck. I need to talk to them. I feel like I know that person. I watch all their videos and whatever. That does not mean anything. Like, that does not mean you have a connection with that person. It's, you've seen their content. You would like to have a connection, and it starts at that moment. So this is just me speaking. I'm like, hopefully people hear this video or watch this VOD and understand like how to go about things in a public setting. Because I hear a lot of situations. We just had the TwitchCon situation where someone just walked up to Emaru and just totally bypassed security, which is on Twitch's fault. But at the same time, it's like, these people exist, you know, and this behavior needs to end. So that's kind of why I wanted to do this kind of video. Is like, I feel like some certain people, I'm not saying everybody, certain people just don't understand how to behave in a social environment.
I left the tournament after a single day of competition. I was eliminated, by the way, just that's important context. I didn't leave while I was still in the tournament, but having been eliminated, I just like couldn't deal with people continuing to touch me and continuing to make my neck spaz out. And I understand that, or I guess I should say the reason why I give this example is because I think that it's a much more understandable action, right? To reach out and like, you know, touch someone on the shoulder or on the arm or whatever. And like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing it in a vacuum, but at scale, and especially when there are other things going on, it can become quite distracting and quite problematic. And I would say that these two examples are indicative of kind of the two types of issues that I've been facing at tournaments. The one being people perhaps not understanding normal social norms, or of being too aggressive, or I don't know, like just violating boundaries in some way. And the other being of people behaving normally in a vacuum, but difficult to handle at scale. These two types of issues got so bad at the World Championships this year that on the finals of Worlds, on Worlds Sunday, I felt that I had no choice except to leave the venue. I just wanted to be there and to watch the finals in person in the crowd. And yet things got so difficult for me that I had to leave. I understood that there was no way I was going to be able to have any semblance of a positive experience if I stayed. And so this year's World Championship Finals, I watched in my hotel room, and it was a uniquely bad feeling. I'm going to move on from this because I could talk about examples all day, but I don't think that's helpful. Hopefully, I think the people who will get it have gotten it, and the people who won't are never going to get it. So I'm going to move on. Just a little interlude here. I want to talk about how this has affected me. In general, I consider myself to be a very low stress and low anxiety person. And in fact, pretty much the only area where I ever feel any stress or anxiety is at a Pokemon tournament. And I think because that like stress and anxiety while competing can be so intense, it makes all other feelings of stress or anxiety or whatever pressure just feel really like nothing burgers in comparison. So I'm willing to bet that I have a significantly lower than average level of stress compared to like, you know, like I'm below the median or whatever. And I mentioned that because after getting home from a tournament, this is pretty much true across the board, it takes me about a week before I go back to feeling normal. And what I mean by that is it takes me about a week before I can go outside my house without having my heart rate spike and without feeling pretty intense anxiety. Because normally when I'm at a tournament, when I leave my, you know, the safety of my hotel room or wherever I'm staying, that's when I have to start being on guard, because that's when some of the challenges start. And even when I'm home from a tournament, it still takes me about a week before I can go back to feeling normal.
And that's, I think, what people are not understanding when they see like a person they might know from YouTube or whatever. It's like, they're just a human like you and me. And if you have like multiple people approaching you all the time, it's going to get overwhelming and it's going to cause stress. Like, you got to put yourself in their shoes. Like, how would it feel if I had like tens of, I don't know how many people will say, maybe 100 people come to you all day and trying to like introduce themselves when they don't even know who you are, really. It gets stressful. Like, you can see that it's taking a mental toll on him. He says he's not an anxious person or doesn't have any kind of like issue on a daily thing or a normal day. But when it comes to Pokemon tournaments, it's like, come home 1 week isolation, and because just can't tolerate being outside because of I guess it's like almost like PTSD. You're like, oh my God, what happens if I go outside and I get attacked by more fans? And it's not like the fans are malicious. It's just that's that's the feeling of that person in that environment. So like, I think people don't really look at the other side. Like, always put yourself in the other person's shoes. How would I feel if that was me? And how would people, like, how would you want the people to react to you?
I don't know what your perception of me is. I don't know if you perceive me as a relatively normal guy who deals with problems in relatively normal ways, or maybe you perceive me as someone who really overreacts. I don't know. But if you think that I have a relatively normal reaction to most things, then perhaps that piece of information is indicative to you of some of the ways that things have been affecting me. Maybe you think that I'm just dramatic, in which case it doesn't really matter. Okay, more importantly than just, coming home and having some extra stress and anxiety for about a week, the big thing is that it's been making tournaments less and less fun to attend. And I love competing and I love attending tournaments and having these issues that have become not the rarity, not the exception, but a constant battle that I feel I am fighting. It's been making tournaments less and less fun. And also it's worth noting that as tournaments have grown, my tactics that I've had for years to deal with a lot of this stuff have been rendered ineffective. They are no longer effective at handling a lot of this behavior, which, because I've been dealing with it for years, albeit at a smaller scale, I think I'm actually quite good at it. The first thing I would always do when I would attend a Pokemon tournament is I would find a hiding place, like a little nook or a cranny somewhere where I could go to and I could be out of sight, and so I could just have a little bit of privacy and peace and quiet and not, have to deal with a lot of the stuff between rounds. Because it's worth noting that even though at a Pokemon tournament, most people see me as a YouTuber or an influencer or whatever you want to call me, I'm there to compete. I'm not there to do fan interaction. I'm not there to be hey guys, it's me, the YouTuber. You know what I mean? Like, I go to tournaments because I love competing.
Right.
I also enjoy meeting fans. It's not my primary reason for being there. And so when I'm at a tournament, it's been my goal to focus as much as I can on the actual aspect of competing. I'm not saying that, I shouldn't have to do any fan interaction, because obviously I understand that I do have an online presence and I am an influencer, right? Or whatever you want to call what it is that I do. But the balance has been way off. And where I'm going with this, I've lost my thought a little bit, but where I'm going with this is that I had ways of dealing with this stuff, and that I would go to a tournament and I would find hiding places around the venue, often outside of the venue, because a venue is basically a big rectangle. There's no hiding places, most of them.
Yeah.
So my strategy for years was to show up, find a place close to the venue that I could go into a little nook and hide with my friends between rounds, and we'd have a little meeting spot. But the problem is that tournaments have gotten significantly better. Tournaments that were once getting, struggling to get 50 entrants or 100 entrants are now getting close to 1,000.
It's crazy. I could tell you, I don't know if I saw Wolfey whatsoever when I was at the regionals, and I guess he was pulling off that strategy of just appear when he's called up for his next round. I was probably 3 or 4 feet away from him after he won one of his matches. I had no desire to go talk to him. I knew who he was. And even if I was a diehard fan, I'm not saying I'm not, but if I was one of those people where I just don't feel I'm nobody, right? I'm a nobody, and now I'm going to approach him, and that's just going to make him more tense and be like, who the hell are you? What do you want? Right? I just understood that, so I just let him be. He was close to me. He walked away off the stage, off the stage you normally see on the Twitch streams, and that was it. Let him go. It was cool to see the the man himself in flesh, but it was whatever. Same thing. I think I saw also Alpha Rat. I didn't even know who he was. I was like, oh, who's this guy? I don't even know. I had to let you guys let me know who he was, but also seeing him there as well, people were just all over him, doing photos, wanting to get near him. I was like, oh, I don't know who that guy is, but clearly he's some kind of creator. But it's just too much for some people, and clearly this is why Wolfey's doing this right now. So, and therefore the venues themselves have gotten bigger, and so it's no longer so feasible for me to go find a place to hide outside of the venue, because I need to walk so far in order to find a place that has some privacy, that I'm not able to make it back in time for the next round. This is an explanation for those of you who are wondering, by the way, that I never talked about before, about the 2024 World Championships. Some of you may remember, if you watched that video, that there was a bit of a plot twist where I found out I was going to be playing when I was not expecting to play, and I wasn't in the venue at that time. And a lot of people were like, well, why weren't you in the venue? And this is why, because I wasn't able to be in the venue and also feel like I could focus on competing. That makes total sense. In order, between rounds with my friends, to find a hiding spot that was a 5-minute plus walk away, and therefore when things didn't go to plan and suddenly I had to be in the venue when I didn't realize I was playing, I ended up being very flustered. I had to run back to the venue. It took me forever because of an unexpected kind of thing here. I'm moving on. I don't think that was exactly as well explained as I would have liked, but
I'm determined to make sure this video is not 40 minutes. I'm at 12, so maybe I can keep it under 20. That's ambitious.
And good luck.
Moving on. Okay. There's more to this video, but I want to talk about the in-person changes first, and then we're going to talk about some of the online stuff, because there's also some online changes as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm not doing a Worlds video this year, and the reason for that is relatively simple. I don't want to. Doing one of these big tournament videos forces me to relive the weekend over and over and over again. And it's to a point where I started dreading both Toronto and EUIC, which were 2 tournaments that I won, because those videos were such big projects, and like reliving them over and over and over again at a certain point, just like, it just made me want to be done with it. And in the end, I like
that was the one I was at too, the Toronto one.
It was to a point that I'm really proud of. But it was challenging, and it was challenging for events that overall I feel really good about because I won the tournaments. And when I think about sitting down to work on a Worlds video, on a video of a tournament weekend where I'm incredibly proud of the run, but there's a lot of bad memories associated with that weekend and a lot of negative feelings associated with it, I just don't want to do it. And I'm using the word don't want to instead of can't, the phrase don't want to instead of can't, because I could. Like, I'm an adult. I could sit down, and if I felt like it was worth it, then I could like force myself to do it, and I could knock it out, and maybe it'd be shorter, and maybe it wouldn't be as good, but I could do it. But ultimately, my philosophy when it comes to videos is that every video on this channel, I feel good about you watching, you the viewer. The relationship of trust with the viewer is kind of the foundation of this channel's success. The idea is that if you watch any video, you will always feel like it's worth your time. That's the goal. I'm not saying I always achieve it, but that's the goal. And ultimately, if I'm not excited to work on a video, I don't think it's reasonable to ask you to be excited to watch it. And I'm not excited about doing a Worlds video. I feel only negative things about it, and so I'm not going to do it. It is an important part of the channel, like as a whole, and I feel sad to not do it because, like I said, I think this is the best my prep has ever been for any World Championships, including the one I won. Maybe I didn't even say that in this version of this attempt, but I said it before, and now you know. And there's a lot that I can be really proud of the run itself, and I think overall it was a really interesting run. But I don't want to do the video, so I'm not going to. Another thing that another major change is that like I said, my future attending live events at the beginning of the video, I said this, my future attending live events is in question. I'm not going to attend another tournament in person for the next 4 months. This means that I will not attend the International Championship in Latin America, that I will not attend the next US Regional in Las Vegas, and that I will not be defending my title at the Toronto Regional Championships. I realize that these issues have made it rather difficult for me to attend events and feel good, and I think that this is a time where I would rather take a break now when I still have the choice rather than be forced to take a break later. However, in taking 4 months off and a third of the season off, that means that it is most likely that I will not qualify for this year's World Championships. Qualifying for Worlds is already extremely difficult, and I'm already attending significantly less events than the majority of my peers when it comes to qualifying for Worlds. I don't attend local events in part because of some of the issues here, even though my local TO is excellent, and I really like him a lot. But I don't attend very many. I didn't attend any locals last season, and I don't intend to attend any this season. And when you factor in missing 4 months of majors and no locals, it's likely that I will not qualify for the World Championships this year. Qualifying for Worlds has become quite difficult, and taking 4 months off is going to make it not impossible, but really difficult. However.
Okay, that's crazy. So like he's not playing in any tournaments for 4 months, taking a break. Absolutely, he should take a mental health break, and especially from what all those things we just heard. It's just unbelievable he has to deal with that. But like the effects of fans have now affected their favorite VGC player to take 4 months off. That should be the opposite effect. You know, the fans should be, helping the situation, not making it to the point where you love the guy so much you're gonna be inappropriate with him and cause him to go 4 months out of his thing that he likes to do. That is wild. Like, this is why I want to do this video. It's just like, this needs to stop. As like, people need to know. So hopefully this video, though, when it goes up on YouTube later, someone catches it and be like, you know what, this is good introspective of what of his experience, and we can all figure and reflect on figuring out how a better way about going about this whole situation.
However, I also want to be clear that even if I do qualify for the World Championships this year, it is very likely that I will not attend. It's going to depend how the rest of the season and how the rest of these events go. But what I will say is that I do not want to have another Worlds like the one I just had. And I would rather not attend than take the risk, because I think that if I don't attend a Worlds, there's a chance I could come back in the future. I think if I have one more Worlds like this one, I don't think I'm coming back. So yeah, that's the in-person stuff. There's more, but wait, there's more. Good job. How am I doing on time?
Oh, yippee, there's more.
Okay, moving on. These in-person issues that I've been facing, I would say, are part of a broader trend that I'm going to describe as parasocial behavior. I don't know if that's actually the right way to use the term, but I'm going to describe it as parasocial behavior. And the thing about this parasocial behavior is that while it's been noticeable in person, it has also been extremely noticeable online. In fact, it's possible that some of you have seen a lot of this parasocial behavior online. And I mean parasocial both in people who are fans of mine and people who are not fans of mine, people who actively dislike me. And I guess what I would say is, we'll talk about the negative stuff first, because I think that's probably easier to understand. I am not, like I said, I think I'm a relatively reasonable person. And so I'm not sitting here thinking I should get no criticism, I should get no hate. Like, I'm a person with 2 million subscribers on YouTube. People are going to have negative opinions about me. That's just human nature. And my personal goal has never been to be somebody who is liked by everybody. I think the only way to be liked by everybody is to basically have no personality, and that's boring.
I don't think that's possible.
That's part
There's
of
always going to be haters.
Something I've ever aspired
always,
to. So
no matter how good you are.
I'm getting criticism online, or I'm getting, people are being hateful or sending me mean things online, and that's making me sad. Because it's always been the case, right? I mean, that's been the case for forever. Most of you have probably seen somebody harass me about something or other at some point, right? That's just part of.
Oh yeah, like the one guy that starts with a V that I won't mention.
The game for so long,
he just won't let it go.
But what
that
I is that the vitriol
needs to go see a therapist or something.
Especially messages around me losing. I found it to be very jarring this year at Worlds. I've never. I guess what I should say is that I've always tried to make it extremely clear that the spirit of this channel is not victory but competition. For me, winning is exciting because of the defeats. Like they're all related. And part of the reason why I've made a Worlds video every year, despite the fact that for 2 of those Worlds I'm not especially happy with my performance, is because it's not all about winning. It's about trying. It's about giving it your all and trying to. And I guess what I should say to make it brief is that for me, the channel's thesis and the kind of the heart of the channel is about the things that you can see and the experiences you get to have in pursuit of winning. Like, winning is a goal, but it's not the ultimate goal. Trying to win and giving it your real honest all is the heart of the channel.
I think it's very important, even just in a general sense. Like, as gamers, we all want to win everything, but it's not always about winning. We always put emphasis on winning. We put our self-worth behind winning. It's not about that. It's like you put your best foot forward. You try your hardest to do the damnedest to win. But if it doesn't work out, it shouldn't be like, well, I'm just worthless. You put your self-worth into just like losing, then you're going to have a bad time. So that's why I always focus here on this channel is not about necessarily getting the dubs, even though it's great and makes like, for good content, but it's not the end all goal. It's about community, having fun, and the memories that you put into those games with each other, right? It's just not that. So like if you're scared of competitive because you're going to lose and you're going to feel like you're not worthy enough to be in that competitive scene, just try it. Just do it. And if you lose, oh well, as long as you tried your damnedest, then it's all that matters. So Wolfey's putting out the right attitude. He's like, yes, it would be nice to win, but we're not about the win. We're just about trying our hardest, putting the best foot forward, putting the time and effort to practice, research, whatever needs to be done to do your best. And if you win, great. If you don't, well, at least I did my heart like the best I could and it didn't pan out. I'll try harder next time. And that's all there is to it. As long as you have fun and you keep pushing yourself, that's the real fun. It's the journey. It's not the destination.
And so I was especially surprised this year after being eliminated from Worlds at just the level of hate and vitriol that I was seeing online. I got offline pretty quickly in part because of this, but yeah, like I just think that the level and the rate of messages that I can't even repeat here because of some of the things people are saying has increased at a level that I'm not super comfortable with. However, this is also true on the opposite side of the coin of people who presumably are fans of mine. The rate at which people are messaging me or tagging me in posts describing sexual acts that they want to perform to me or whatever about me, I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't even know if I can make a statement about whether or not it's morally wrong or not, because I genuinely don't know. I'm not trained for this stuff. But it makes me uncomfortable and I don't like seeing it.
Okay. He doesn't need to say that he needs to be trained in any shape, way, or form. It's literally, if you do not feel like it's appropriate, that's valid, period. There's no like professional that needs to step in and say, is your feelings valid? It absolutely is. So if he feels uncomfortable about it, which I think everyone could admit, if you were getting those kind of things online, those kind of comments, sexual comments towards you, and like obviously you're making that person uncomfortable, period. Like it really shouldn't even become a conversation or a thing that you do online, but for some reason people think that that's acceptable, and it is really not. It's really not. We should not be. That's a rule in our Discord as well. It's like there should be no any kind of talk like that. We're all just friends. We're all playing games. We're having fun. There is no reason to talk like that. That is not appropriate whatsoever. And it's crazy that his fans think that like they somehow are owed the ability to say these types of things to him because what, they watched a video of his. No, he's another human being like you or I, like you, any one of us. So I don't know why people get off thinking that this is acceptable.
On top of that, even apart from people being what I would describe as weird, I don't know if that's true, but it feels weird. It also makes me feel bad to hear that people are such fans of mine that they would go into, you know, Twitch chat and only ask about me, right? Or, you know, that Twitch, like I heard that like Twitch chat this year, and I think this has been a problem for a while, is like, all people are doing is like, oh yeah, where's Wolf? Where's Wolf? Where's Wolf? And like, I understand that people mean well. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong about asking how your favorite player is doing, but it makes me sad to hear that, I don't know, people are not respecting the other competitors who are also out there trying their all, especially after I've been eliminated, right? Like, I don't know. I understand people are just like not following the whole tournament, but it still doesn't make me feel good. It still feels disrespectful to the other competitors. And something that,
can I just say, like right now, that it like I said earlier, has always seemed that Wolf has always been that one guy, right? If he's like the Michael Jordan of VGC. If you don't watch basketball, you don't follow the game, and you know the person and you know the person's name and you know like they're like the best or just like regarded as the best in that kind of field. And yeah, it like anytime you talk about VGC, it's like, well, a Wolf. Like, well, who else do you talk about, right? And it's like, well, that mean everybody else in the competition means nothing. Like we're putting so much emphasis on him, and you can see we're putting him on a pedestal. So people are feeling like they can just do whatever with him, and it's not right. I'll let it play.
An example, but something that really didn't sit right with me is that this year's world champion is a player named Giovanni. Where am I in my notes? And sorry, I'm just getting oriented to make sure I don't forget something. This year's world champion is a player named Giovanni from the US, and he played extremely well. He was extremely deserving world champion. He was actually the player who I had my eye on before Worlds outside of my group that I thought was most likely to win. And after he won, first of all, I felt very vindicated. And second of all, congratulations, Giovanni. It was extremely well deserved. And those of us who were, you know, competing, I think,
congratulations, Giovanni.
It was perhaps it was a not an if, but a when. And the when happened at a good time. So congratulations. But what I want to say about this is that after Giovanni won, people were trying to give me some share of the credit for his win. Credit that I, to be absolutely clear, do not deserve in the slightest. People kept trying to like tie his success to me in some way. It made me feel awful because it's not only disrespectful to him and his efforts and his friends and all the work that he put in, but it's also disrespectful to me. Like I gave it my all and I lost, and there's honor in that. Like there is honor, and I take pride in saying I did my best. I have no regrets. And
there you go. There's the attitude you should have.
Wolf kind of won because Giovanni's the first American world champion since Wolf, or like, oh, they had the same restricted duo. I don't know. I just, it doesn't make me feel good. And it makes me feel like people are seeing me as something that I'm not. I am truly just a man. I'm truly just one man, nothing more, nothing less. And while I do feel like it is a tremendous privilege to be in the spot that I am in and to represent this community that I care so much about, and I hope to feel like I'm doing it at least a little bit of justice, like, I don't want to be, what am I even trying to say, dog? Oh my God. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel like I've become more of a symbol and less of a person. And there is a lot of responsibility, and I'm very privileged to be in that position. But at the same time, sometimes I would like to be a person. Sometimes I would like to be Wolf and not WolfeyVGC.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on, because we're wrapping up here, and I think I'm gonna be able to keep this under 30. Copium.
Copium.
People online are being weird. You've probably seen it, and if not, teach me your ways, because I would like to not see it. And on that note, one of the big changes I'm going to be making online is I'm going to be off of all social media. We already have a social media manager for Instagram, and I might get one for Twitter, although honestly, I don't know if I even want to post on Twitter anymore, just because like, it's like, I don't know, I'm not like a little dog anymore, you know. Now I'm a medium to big dog, and I don't know if I need to keep posting on Twitter anymore. So I'll figure it out. But if you see posts on Twitter or honestly on any social media other than YouTube posts, it's probably not me. Where am I? Hello? The theory here basically is that like I don't think that not posting is going to make people be normal, and ultimately I don't think that I can make people be normal online, but I can control whether or not I see it. Like ideally in a perfect world people would start being normal, but like that's not the world that we live in, and I think rather than trying to fight a losing battle, I would simply like to protect my own peace of mind. On that note,
yeah, definitely take the time for yourself.
There's going to be some exceptions, like if I host a major event, or maybe at game release, like maybe when Champions comes out, I might do some live streaming. But for the most part, I feel like live streaming reduces the barrier between the audience and the streamer. And as I would like people to be less parasocial and more normal, this doesn't seem to be in my best interest. Given that goal. This is the reason why I didn't stream any Legends ZA, by the way, because although I've already played for 25 to 30 hours, and like I did a little recording for it, which you may have seen like kind of clips of in the video that we put out about ZA. I didn't want to live stream it because I didn't want, it just didn't seem like it was in line with my overall goals.
Yeah, he's just trying to keep distance.
The elephant in the room is that I don't really think that my, once every 2 month live streams were the reason why people are developing parasocial relationships with me. I truly think that the biggest source of people feeling like they know me is that in my tournament videos and these major videos that we only put a couple of a year, I really pour my heart and my soul into these videos. I care very deeply about these videos, and I spend literally months agonizing over them, trying to get the script to just the perfect level.
I don't know if he's about to go into this or not, but his like world video, I think he was super delayed with it because he put like months and months of effort into it, and I think it took so damn long that like it was almost like he felt like, oh my god, what's even the point, even though I'm putting so much effort into it. So it's crazy that all of this has made him say, I am not doing that video anymore. Like he puts a lot of effort into that, and now it's gone, and he doesn't want to do it. And it's just, and also to go through the footage, he goes through a bad time and has to look at the footage and remember like, oh, I remember this time where I dealt with that problem. So it's almost traumatic to even make a video like that. And like, that's his biggest piece of content. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that we're here. And then he's like, nope, I'm not doing it because it affects me mentally and I just can't do it anymore. And it's really sad to see.
And so the most obvious solution is to stop doing tournament videos, to stop making videos about these big in-person events. But I don't want to. These videos are really important to me. I really care about them deeply, and I don't want to stop making them. And so I'm going to try making other changes first, and then maybe reevaluate if things don't get better. That's a lot of what I wanted to say, but there's one more section left, which is that I didn't want this video to just be all negative. I wanted to have some positive things in here as well. So I'm going to end this on some positive, some more positive vibes, things. I don't know. In the hopes that. Nope, that's not the right phrase I wanted. So that you understand that it's not all doom and gloom. Like things have been kind of bad, but they could get better. First of all, if you're just a regular viewer of the channel, and maybe if you're a casual viewer of the channel, nothing's really going to change for you. Like the bulk of the videos on the channel are already not centered around me competing in live events. These are like 4 a year, maybe. And so like if you are just like a regular viewer who loves like the best Pokemon of every series, of every type series, or some of the fun online tournaments, nothing is changing. If I didn't make this video, it would be a while until a bulk of the it would be a while until the bulk of my audience realized that something was different, because we already don't do very many tournament videos. And even if I do feel like I have to stop competing in person, I could shift my focus. I could try and make these in-person tournament videos about online tournaments. In many ways, it would be easier because I could actually record all of my games. That would be a huge help, rather than having to memorize and then recreate them. So in many ways, that would be like an upgrade in a sense. And if I wanted to have more prestigious or more challenging online events, I could look into like other solutions. I could look into potentially sponsoring an online tournament circuit that I put up good prize money for to encourage people.
Yeah, he could make his own tournaments.
Even if I do have to stop competing at in-person events, it doesn't necessarily mean that the spirit of competition will be gone from this channel. Next point is that this is just kind of like on a personal note, but I've had a number of really good interactions with my peers in the VGC community over the last couple of years, including people who I don't talk to regularly. I've gone to a couple different social gatherings with people who I like, but don't have the opportunity. Like I don't talk to more than a couple times a year, and I've just felt like people get it. Like I feel like my peers in the space get it. Even the people I'm not friends with, I feel like maybe they don't get everything, but I feel seen, and I feel like people understand, especially people who've been around pre Scarlet and Violet. I think they get it in some way. And this means a lot to me because a lot of my experiences over the last couple of years have felt very dehumanizing. I've just felt kind of like an animal in an enclosure at the zoo, or like Mickey Mouse at Disneyland, like a character that people can, run up to and point and get a picture with, and never mind what old Mickey's going through, right?
Yeah.
What he's there for, right? And I feel like that's kind of how I feel like I've been treated a little bit. And so it's meant a lot to me that my peers in the space, who are the people I see the most often, like I feel like they still see me as Wolf and not WolfeyVGC, and that means a lot and has honestly made things easier. So if you're, I paused like I could edit that out. Like I paused to click myself. I forgot that this isn't going to be edited. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to the people in the scene because I don't take it for granted. And then the last positive thing that I want to say is that I'm gonna have to. Then this isn't gonna seem positive, but trust me, we'll get there. Which is that at some point I will have to stop competing. Right? I've always known that nobody competes forever. However, I always figured that if I stopped competing, it would be because competition stopped being fun for me. Like I lost the love of the game, or like maybe I was, I wasn't able to keep up with the new guard, and it was really hard for me to never win. Like maybe I don't know. I always thought it'd be something like that. I never imagined it would be something kind of external in a way, not internal. And the thing that I'll say about this that is positive is that I am still having fun. I still love competing and I'm still having a blast. And like, if I could just do the competition part of tournaments and not everything else, that would be great. That would be great for me. I would love that. And so given that in mind, I guess it's worth noting that because it's still fun for me and because it's still fun for me, I have motivation to try and fix things. Things right now are pretty bad, just to be blunt. However, I think that they could become better. It's really profound, Wolf. And I have the motivation to try and make them better because things are still fun. So even though it's a low point, it's not necessarily true that it's going to stay a low point forever. And I'm trying to make things better as we speak. I recently attended the Milwaukee Regional Championships, and I tried out some new solutions. And Milwaukee was the first event I can think of in probably the better part of a decade where I felt like I could just focus on competing, where I didn't have to focus on a lot of the extraneous stuff. And I don't know, it was a very positive experience. And it is worth noting that regionals they do tend to be more chill compared to other levels of events, but even still, like regionals have not been chill for me for many years. So I think this is a pretty big win. I meant to mention this earlier, but I forgot because I didn't have a note for it, which is talking about fan interaction. I think that going forward, I'm going to have to find some new solutions just because things have been getting a little bit out of hand. I don't know what these look like just yet. I will update you when I do, probably on the YouTube post. My ideal solution, I think, is to do some sort of meet and greet at official tournaments so that I can say, hey, if you would like a picture or an autograph or you just want to chat for a second, this is where you go to do it. And then when I am actually competing, I'm just focused on competition. I do want to say sorry because I've said no to a fair few people for pictures and autographs at my last couple events, and I want you to know that I feel genuinely very bad about it. And yeah, I'm sorry. I wish that I could do more. I wish that there was more of me to give. And I have really tried so hard for so many years to be the person that I think people see me as this sim.
I'm just gonna pause it there. Basically, I think at this point, maybe he just needs security. He just needs someone with him that can like say like, oh, you want this or that, like an autograph or a picture. He needs kind of some kind of like representation there to help him. I think he's going to events alone, which is probably why a lot of people just walk up to him like it's willy-nilly, like whatever. Like you said, yeah, having a meet and greet would make sense. Having a designated like area where you could talk or meet him with supervision, mind you. He shouldn't be doing this by himself. He shouldn't just be at a table by himself. He should have maybe a couple people on either side, and watching the whole interaction. And like we've seen with TwitchCon, like clearly they didn't know how to set up a security system with security guards and whatnot, and a lot of them were just slacking off, like just chatting, doing nothing, which is not appropriate. When you're on the job, you should be doing your job, not socializing. But yeah, he's got the right idea, I think. Just like maybe include someone else or a couple people with you that can kind of be that barrier between you and the other people that are trying to interact with you. That way it's like, look, not right now, like, they kind of do the pushback, at least that way too, is if there's a security guard and they say like, sorry, like no pictures, no anything, you can be mad at the security guard. you don't have to technically be mad at Wolfey for saying, no, I can't, right? Which is what he's apologizing for right now, and it obviously affects him, and he doesn't like to have to do that. But understandably, it's his mental being is more important than anything else. So, I mean, it is what it is.
As this kind of unshakable bastion in the scene. But I am only human, and I think pretending that I'm not is not doing me or you any favors. So, if you asked me for a picture and I said no, I am genuinely very sorry, and I'm going to try and find a solution so that I can have time with people who have so generously supported me for so many years and still be able to focus on competing in myself. It is a difficult balance to find, but I am committed to finding some sort of solution. And that's it. Under 30.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, okay.
No, he didn't do it.
Under 34. I'm wrapping up here.
2 more minutes.
Last thing that I want to say is thank you. Thank you for listening. Thanks for listening to my 30 minutes. No, God. Okay. These are new glasses.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Thanks for listening. I want to emphasize that I know that I am in a tremendously fortunate position, and I do not take it for granted. I know that being the face of a community that I personally care so deeply about is an honor. And a privilege. And I hope you know that this video is in many ways my last resort, that if I thought that I could deal with this on my own without saying something, that I would. And as evidence for that, this has been a problem for years, and it's only getting worse. And it's only going to get worse unless I do something. So
yes, take action sooner than later, for sure.
The very last thing that I will say is that even if this is the end of me competing, like you don't have to feel too bad for me. I would love to still continue competing. I would love to be able to still do this thing that I love. But at the end of the day, I've had a wonderful career, and I've been given so many opportunities, and most importantly, I've met some of the best people I think I will ever know in my entire life because I was able to compete at this game. And if this is as far as I go, while sad in some ways, it's been the run of a lifetime. And so I think to treat it as anything else would be to do a disservice to the things that I've got to experience. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please be normal. Please be normal. Most of you are normal. The vast majority of people are normal.
Please be normal.
0.1% of 2 million is 2,000, and that's not nobody. So that's it. It's under 34 minutes. That's it for me. Bye.
All right. Well, there you go. There's the video. If you haven't already, hold on. Let's get out of there. If you haven't already, go make sure to go. We have WolfeyVGC and on YouTube. I don't know. Final thoughts? Yeah, being normal. I don't think normal is really like common sense anymore. I don't know if common sense exists anymore. But this whole reaction video it will be up on YouTube later. If you want to check out, it will be a separate video. I'll edit it down so the rest of here on out is not in the video. But again, yeah, it's just I'm just shocked to hear like his experiences and that he had to go through all that. I know being a celebrity or being a content creator, which is kind of like synonymous with each other now, you get all kinds of different individuals treating you very oddly, very inappropriately, mind you. Like some of the stuff is just horrid. But like, yeah, it's come to a point now where like you're a fan, but you're pushing him away from doing the thing that you like him doing. So I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe we could watch this video here on the channel and give some some insight to what's going on. I know some of you said that you don't know of Wolfey, but he's usually regarded as like the #1 person anyone mentions when it comes to competitive battling in the Pokemon scene. And he's even said it himself. It's like people always bring up him. Where's he? How is he placing? It's always like, who cares about every other competitor? It's always like, where does he land? Did he get in first? Did he get in second? Did he get in third? It's never about any other competitor. And it's like, we get it, a lot of people are fans of him, but there's other people out there and you should be rooting for them too. Like it's not just Wolfey out there. And the fact that some people were giving credit to him for the champion winning is it just does injustice to that person. It like undermines that person's, the practice, the people that were involved, the hard effort of that person to get to that place and win the tournament, and then just to be like, you know what, well, you only won because Wolfey showed you how to do it, or Wolfey has some kind of involvement, so really it's his victory. That's not how it goes. Like if someone wins, they've done it, they earned it, and that the credit should go to them. And yes, it does a disservice to him as well. So I don't know. Well, if you guys want to check this video again, it's going to be on YouTube, and like don't get, I don't want to leave this on a bad note, but like it was just some informative stuff. We'll be moving into some ZA in just a moment, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll leave it at that.